Hello everyone. Welcome to Gamescom Asia panel discussion around the fastest growing company in gaming sector nowadays, which is India. And I am Alok Kumar. I had user and research part in one of the fastest growing gaming company in India. And it's recently acquired by Stillfront Group as well. I'm talking about Moonfrog Labs. My passion has been always around player focused design and player research. And at Moonfrog Labs, I handle player experience for most of our successful games like Teen Patti Gold, Karaoke Club, Ludo Club, and few more. I have around 15 plus years of experience and into design, primarily UX design and research. And I work for multiple MNCs and few startups as well and few gaming companies. I'm also a core member of Rethinking UX community. That's a community of around 15,000 UX professionals that we built around in last 1 year during COVID times. And that's doing very successfully. That's all about me. So today, to start with, I'm kind of thrilled to moderate the session in which we are going to discuss about the future of gaming in India. And I would like to start by introducing you to the incredible panel of our Indian gaming industry. And we have kind of managed to invite few experts from gaming industry. So at the very first, we have Ashish Gupta, who is the lead of game ecosystem at Geo Platform. Hello, Ashish.
Hi, Alok. Thank you for introduction. Hello, everyone. I lead games ecosystem at Reliance Geo and looking forward to hear more things about the new game developers from the industry. Things are doing well. I would say the industry is doing very well
Great, great. Welcome, Ashish. So
this
our
year.
second panelist is Chirag Chopra, so sorry. Chirag Chopra, who is the founder of Lucid Games, who is the only developer of Apple arcade games in India right now. And he's also very active on social community, I can see. So Chirag, can you please tell a few words about your life at Lucid Games?
Hi everyone. I'm Chirag Chopra. I run a small indie studio by the name of Lucid Labs, and we are passionate about making experimental narrative-driven games. A few months ago, we released our flagship title called Possessions on Apple Arcade, and now we are looking forward to creating some more ideas around the same genre. I'm happy to be here, and thanks for having me.
Thanks, Chirag. And our third panelist is Purnima Seetharaman. She's a lead game designer at Zynga, and she's very active on gaming community and a reputed face in women in games. I can see her very active on LinkedIn and other social media nowadays. Purnima, can you please say some words about your life at Zynga and as a woman in gaming?
Sure. Thanks for having me here. Hi, everyone. I'm Purnima Seetharaman. I'm currently leading the design team for Zynga, Farmville to Country Escape, and also the product owner for one of the hybrid casual setup that we have in Studio I, which is the India arm of Zynga. I've been in the gaming industry for about 15 years now and worked with some of the larger names like India Games, which is Disney India, Jumpstart, GSN, and even had a brief stint with Square Enix India. I've also established two companies of my own. And yeah, it has been a great ride so far. Primarily a game designer, but also worn hats of product management, producer, and even a studio head. I'm very active on the women in gaming side of things. I was recently inducted into the Women in Games Hall of Fame, which was into 2020 September. So yeah, that's pretty much me. Thanks for having me here.
Thanks. Welcome, Purnima. And last but not the least, our fourth panelist is Manav Sethi, who is Chief Marketing Officer of Octro, a face behind a very successful game, which is a card game in India. Manav, can you please tell me a bit more about Octro Life?
Sure. Hey guys, so games at Octro has been played by about 200 million plus players so far, about 150 billion times. We got into existence in gaming by launch of Teen Patti in 2013, 2014. Sequoia invested in us, and since then, Teen Patti has been topping the charts ever through. We also launched a game called Play Rummy, which is our entry into the real money gaming business. And very recently, as you can see in my back, we've launched a game called Soccer Battles. We have launched it globally, and we are also working on the global launch of poker as well. So, Purnima, hi. Uh, and if you look at what Octro does is right at the intersection of sports and entertainment, we vie for players' leisure time in his daily life, right? And that we believe that gaming has already become a scalable leisure option for world at large. Happy to be here, youngest guy on the block when it comes to gaming. I have launched OTT apps in the past. I have scaled e-commerce businesses in the past, and I also have founded and exited few startups as well. Happy to be here.
Great. Great. Welcome, Manav, to the panel. So, welcome all the panelists with the note that we'll start our today's discussion, and that's the very first topic I have in my mind about today's discussion is that is mobile gaming now bigger than the console and PC? So, a few of you have good experience in mobiles, a few of you have worked from a console and PC as well. So, as you can see, how the internet penetration is rapidly increased, and it has changed the lifestyle and kind of a knowledge base of Indian audience. Mobile and internet is available at very effective price in India now, and it's kind of a player around tier 2, tier 3 city have a good access of internet and mobile nowadays. So the player who might not afford maybe a console and PC gaming, they might have a very good access of mobile and internet now. So the question remains same: is the mobile gaming now bigger than the console and PC? And if you talk about my answer, maybe it could be a little bit biased towards mobile because I am primarily having much more experience in terms of mobile. Like I have worked from our games like Team Patti Gold, Ludo Club, karaoke, which are all mobile specific, mobile targeted, and those are working very well. And I can see a lot of my players who might not be able to afford PC and console ever. They are playing our games very, very frequently, and they are spending like more than 4 5 hours a day. So to know more about this part, I would like to talk to our experts. So I would like to go to Ashish first. And Ashish, as we know, like Geo has been like a company who is kind of very much responsible for internet penetration in India. So how do you see this world happening? You sitting in Geo.
Always exciting for Geo because a with whole industry effort and from our top management vision, we wanted to make internet bandwidth as cheap as it can be in India, and we can see the magic now. And I proudly say that Jio has powered India with the cheapest 4G internet on earth. Our tariff plans are very economical. When I talk to any other country, when we tell about our rates, they say it's amazing. So the huge base we have, and we see that a lot of people move from switching off the internet on the phone while playing game, but they don't really care about it anymore now for like 2 years because data is not expensive than them as now. From the gaming perspective, I see almost 10 to 15 different studio coming up every quarter. This is purely new studios. Maybe there are only two people, maybe there are 10 people, right? 10%. And that's why you can industry effect because we are bringing the together Geo and the gaming industry bringing the employment because now people are opening the studio. They are confident that they will make something and they'll start making some money. Maybe not from India but from other country, but at least they have this confidence. Earlier, if someone says, "Hey, I'm gonna open the gaming company," people say, "Sure." So things are not like that. That's first part. The second part is uh, we see a lot of people are understanding the publishing capabilities and the gaps which are there in publishing. So apart from just develop the game and keeping in a bookshelf, they understood that you have to publish, distribute in a proper way. You have to also understand the feedback of the gamer and feedback of the industry. And industry is quite open now when it goes to talk. Earlier, when I was game designer or game producer, people not very open to talk to each other in terms of game design or production or the quality or the challenges which they are facing. Right? They all are working towards it, but no one was talking. But now people are talking about each and every problem. Okay, this is my problem. Can you help me? This is my problem. Can you help me there? And that's how industry grows. Uh, Being at Geo, what I am bringing is there is creating the ecosystem for Geo phone, which is the smart feature phone, not a gaming device, but we are trying to make it a gaming device because this base was never there on gaming. This base was using the phone as a basic telephony services for SMS and calls only. But now on this phone, people are spending 37 minutes every day on gaming on this very small candy bar keypad phone. And we have more than 300 games and more than 100 developers working towards it. Similarly, coming up with the setup box. So what we are trying to do, apart from global exposure for the gaming studios, we're trying to make a lot of exposure here in India, so that we have gamers, we have developers. Why not to connect both of them? And that's all we're trying.
Great. Thanks, Ashish, for your valuable input about this. So I can see that Purnima, you have worked a lot and you have a very significant experience in terms of video games. How do you see this world changing towards mobile? What do you think about this topic particularly?
So I think the world is already changing towards mobile, right? Like about, I think maybe 2016, 2017 onwards, we've suddenly seen the surge tilting towards the mobile industry. We've seen that, I mean, PC and console are definitely players, and I feel like they're going to stay. There is no way we are saying we are getting rid of that or mobile is going to take over where those industries don't exist. I don't believe in that. What it happens is the numbers are changing. If you look at, say, even the latest numbers of, say, 2020 or 2019, we see about a good maybe 50 to 60 percentage of market share in terms of games are more towards mobile rather than PC and console. And the same reflects in terms of revenue as well. So I think roughly about 85, $90 billion are coming out of the mobile gaming industry versus your 30s and 40 billion still coming strongly from the PC and console industries. The interesting part, I think, that has changed in our favor for mobile industry is that the demographics, right? So if you look at China and India, which is more densely populated countries, but are still developing nations, which Ashish pointed out in terms of affordability, in terms of consoles and all of that. I myself afforded a console much later in my life. But access to mobile has become so much better now, and with the internet, penetration with cheaper internet and free data, we have now become, especially with say China and India, we are large populations, and our penetrations have become more on mobile, and it's more accessibility. I think all that is adding into the whole aspect of mobile. Plus, even in terms of a global scale, commute during playing during commutes, playing while waiting for an order to happen, these things are faster and it's easier to propagate in terms of mobile. And we are also doing a lot of cross-platform, development, where even things like a Fortnite, a PUBG, and all of these are present across different platforms, connected to the same network. So you can pick it up from one device and carry it on the other. I think that this collaboration is definitely working in our favor. And mobile has some advantages, even in terms of publishing. There was when I started into the game development industry, we used to still tie up with mobile operators. We were dependent on them to give us space to even release something. And that also, we are fighting with a bunch of other developers. Versus now, you can just self-publish. You are not dependent on anyone, which platforms and supporting devices, the things have opened up for game developers. So I feel like all of this definitely adds into the aspect of going all mobile. It becomes easier for the indies also to step into that domain. And I know that in some aspects, PC and console are following that discipline to enable more indies to come into their platforms, especially with devices that are like hybrid, like a Nintendo Switch. So yeah, I think the options are plenty, and India has always been mobile first. So that gives us the advantage to go that route and skill up. Having said that, I would still like to see more PC and console development coming out of India. I think that's a personal thing I would like to see.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Great. Thanks, Purnima, for your words. Yeah, that's very valuable feedback, I would say, in terms of what I see in terms of, because our games like in Teen Patti Gold and like Ludo primarily, which is for Moonfrog Labs, I keep meeting my players very often. And what I've realized, it is primarily more of ease of use or accessibility, I guess. I have been meeting the players who say that, hey, I usually play my game even at the traffic red lights. If I see there's a 2 minute red light, I stop and play one game. I finish my one game and then I go. That is something which is not available for other games, maybe. Okay. So with that, I would like to move to Manav, who is also in a company called Octro, which is very much focused in terms of mobile. You have a lot of games which is primarily focused on mobile. How do you see this world changing?
So I think as Purnima rightly said, right, the world has already changed, right? If you look at 2020 numbers, about 48% of the total market was contributed by mobile gaming, amounting to about $80 billion or so, right? So I think to that extent, the cheese has already moved, right? I would also go on a limb to say that rather than India making more PC and console games, we should see India making more games at large, right? I mean, we would want more IPs to come out of India, which can be taken to 200 countries, localized in 20 languages, right? Which so far has been done by Zyngas in this percentage of the world, right? I think to that extent, that move has happened, right? And it is largely also so because as you look at the GDP per capita or ability to spend and affordability factor, right? India has always leapfrogged generation. They've always skipped a particular stream and sort of latched on to the next new stream, whether it is 4G, 5G, smartphone. I mean, we are the second largest smartphone population in the world right now, right? And to that extent, and if you now combine with the ease of use, the barriers to entry, mobile gaming by far will be the largest growth stream in times to come.
Thank you. Thanks, Manav, for your words. So, with this, I would like to move to my second question, which is very close to this topic only. And the next question is around: is that new mobile gaming trends? What do you think is going to come in the next year? In this 2021, there are a lot of things happening. Google Stadia coming, Apple Arcade coming into the picture. Google seems to be working very hard on mobile games. So, looks like there's a lot of things happening. There's a lot of opportunity and technology coming in this year and coming year, and the world has to move, gaming sector has to move and learn or adopt those new technology and new styles. How do we think that world is changing in terms of new trends? What kind of new trends we see that is coming? I would like to come to Chirag first about this part. I would like to know your point of view in terms of what do you think, how this new trends going to come in terms of 2021.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of this industry, right? Every 2 or 3 years we change or shift in tides. Like it's so unpredictable that no one can put down a finger and say this is what's going to happen in the next year or the next 2 years. But the good thing is, with the technology being advanced and new ways of being invented to play the games, I think there's a strong chance that we'll see even more ways of, for example, the instant games, instant apps being mainstream. Because like Purnima mentioned, the whole facade is about accessibility, right? Just take out your phone and start playing and all that. So even reducing the friction there, even if you don't have the required time or the required resources to just download GBs of games, these instant games and apps will actually give you a good idea about what to expect from it before you actually spend your energy on it. So Apple has these app clips which are already doing great wonders for games. You can just go on their store pages and just play the game without even installing it, play down a few levels and see what's it all about. And again, subscription, I mean my opinion might be a little biased since I am so involved in the subscription gaming, being a part of Apple Arcade. But I definitely see for creators like me who are really fond of creating these, unique experiences and selling your games as a games without worrying about, showing an interstitial ad every 2 levels, every 3 levels. I think these platforms will push the boundaries and allow the creators to just go beyond, the ideal mainframe of creating games and actually come up with some innovative, interesting stuff. And services like Apple Arcade and even Google's gaming subscription services will help not just the creators but even the players, get back to the root of gaming, which is getting the absolute fun of playing a game without having to worry about the full content coming from an ad or an app purchase.
Great points, Chirag. Thank you so much for adding these all points. So I would like to come to Ashish about your point of view, because I see Geo also bring a lot of technology stuff for gaming industry. And how do you see that the world is changing in terms of technology for gaming?
Earlier, they were very distinct. Their gamers were very different. A console gamer was always a console gamer. A mobile gamer was ultra casual or casual gamer. PC gamer was divided into a hardcore PC gamer and a casual gamer. Someone is playing ultra casual games on Facebook or different platforms. But now what I see is the same person plays game on mobile. The same person plays game on PC also, and if he has a time, he also plays the game on TV as well. So they're playing across. It's not. I mean, most of these new age gamer, they are not restricted themselves to a Xbox gamer or a PS4 gamer or only a mobile gamer. If they get a chance, they play on each and every platform. Because they understand that they at somewhere they're getting very cheesy things, very engaging platform, At somewhere they can play with friends. At somewhere they can only play for themselves. They believe that I can beat this game in a hardcore level or something like that. So so that's one part. The second thing is what we are doing from technology perspective. We have seen a lot of in women, housewives, and a lot of people sitting at home. Maybe the grandfathers, grandparents, and all those people. They can also play games, and they can also contribute a time in gaming. How? Through the mobile and also through the setup boxes. And that is why we have launched the Android based setup box, which is very much like your any other Android device, and it basically convert any TV into a smart TV. So now you can play HTML5 and Android game on your TV without buying any console or fancy smartphone or any big screen device. So by the remote control or by the game control, you can play these games on the TV. Why we are doing this? The TV is have always better penetration than mobile, because it's a family shared device, right? I mean, in terms of mobile is much larger base, but TV is a family shared device where people can do a lot of different things, and that is why we are bringing in smart TVs, smart TV based games. The TVs are not smart. Our setup box will make them smart. Then mobile game is already there. Then Geo phone is always there. Then we're also coming up with a cloud gaming functionality wherein you can play one single game from smartphone from the setup box, and also the same game can continue on PC. So that is what we're trying to do after our 5G launch. But as of now, the games are available on set-top boxes and all these platforms. So technology, of course, plays a big role. Infrastructure plays a big role, but we also need to make sure that we have appropriate content or the right engaging strategies. We cannot just throw anything at them and expect the results. So we have to work on that area.
Got it. Very interesting point, Ashish. Thank you so much. So I would like to come to Manav now around this part. What do you think about how technology is changing? What you guys are doing in terms of technology to make
I
gaming
think
more accessible for the people?
2021 start has already shown, right? 2 days ago, we've had a fantastic Roblox IPO, right? So you have seen how a company that started way back in 2007 has sort of acquired such scale to an extent that today more than 75% of Americans between 9 to 12-year-olds are actually consuming Roblox, right? So that's consumption at scale never happened in the past. So I think futures to come, gaming will transcend into metaverses, which will be like a static state where you can just come and go. That's one. Second, I think we'll see a lot of games which were so far restricted only for consoles being sort of made for mobile environment as well, because people want this adaptability, right? Wherever they live, they should be able to pick it up, wherever they want next from. I think third, while there are initiatives at a smaller scale of Google Stadia or Apple Arcade, there is no scalable experience at scale right now where curated games have been put in a particular okay, right? So there is no Netflix of gaming kind of service yet. I think that to me is a very, very big future waiting to happen, right? I think next, a lot of immersiveness and 3D, sort of environment should be part of gaming at large, largely riding on the rise of the metaverses and how platforms like Discord, Twitch, and YouTube are sort of becoming part of the entire gaming ecosystem. If you look at it from industry at large, gaming globally is any which way is more than 2 times music and movies, combined, right? So I think that's how we will see that how at the intersection of sports, entertainment, movies, and music, gaming will sort of acquire the largest set of eyeballs. And the conventional wisdom is that wherever the eyeballs go, dollars, follow.
Thank you. Thanks. Very interesting point about the technology. With this, I'll just move to the next question, which is around India has been seen as a country where card games are kind of very much overwhelmed. People are playing. It's famous that India has been the game makers of in terms of primarily card games and all. Uh, but we can see the interest shifting towards different kind of games like skill games or battle games and other kind of games too. So what do you think, what kind of genre of the game is going to rule in 2021, primarily if we talk about India? I would like to come back to Purnima first about this. Purnima, I would like to know from you, what do you think, what genre of the gaming sector is going to be rule India in this 2021?
I think to generally talk about a larger umbrella, I would say depending on kind of trends. I think we all have like a very herd mentality that we follow. I don't think before PUBG we realized this kind of a game would become something that's going to be ruling India in the next generation, right? So having said that, some of the industry figures points towards games like puzzles, action, card, board games. These seem to be some of the go-to aspect for India. Like even in terms of retention, when we look at say a D7, D30 retention, these games seem to be doing really well. And of course, now we have a lot of genre blenders, right? We are using, say, more like more character-driven, role-playing driven games that are mostly shooters, and we are trying to push that as well. So these things seem to be working. So overall, the genres are blending, but I would still find to categorize it into the shooters, puzzles, and cardboard games. So I feel like that continues to be our prime.
Yes, there's a lot of interest about those kind of games, and I'm assuming that yes, that should continue for so long. Yeah, I would like to come to Chirag. What do you think about this particular part sitting at Lucid Games,
Lucid Labs.
Lucid Labs? So sorry.
Yeah, I think to echo what Purnima said before PUBG, everyone thought the best way to monetize India is just show them ads, and that's how things will work. But PUBG, being such a strong contender in India, showed the world and Indian consumers and the developers that if done right, there's a way to monetize Indian users with in-app purchases, with consumables, with different items in the game. And now you see more and more developers actually focusing on that area, building these games with in-apps and items at the core focus of the game design. And this I think this is a start of a good trend in India, because we've started seeing way past those traditional ways of monetization, traditional game design being done in India. And of course, there are a lot of gamers or consumers in India who don't like to play games, but they like to play Teen Patti and Rummy and those, the traditional Indian card games. So as long as the interest aligns, we'll continue to see these games, because there are a lot of people, even my dad, he doesn't consider himself as a gamer, but he regularly plays like poker and Teen Patti, and he doesn't like the idea of playing games. So to just streamline, those games are here to stay. But thanks to games like PUBG and even Call of Duty Mobile, the developers and consumers have started realizing the true potential of games, game design, and these in-app purchases and consumables.
Great, great, Chirag. So, to deep dive more in terms of monetization and all, I have one of my next question that is something about. It looks like a very proven theory that subscription model is one of the best revenue generation model that is being used by a lot of gamers and a lot of games. And but the world and technology is changing. Players are spending time. Style has been changed. How this wallet has come. How like Google Pay, Paytm kind of payments methods has come. The players' lifestyle has changed. The way of payment method has been changed. So, what do you think? Do we need to make some innovation in subscription model to overturn our conventional revenue model, or is it good to go the way we are going? I would want to stay to you only, Chirag. What do you think about this part?
I think, yeah, the if there's a better value to be provided to the consumer in terms of subscription, like if you can offer rewards in terms of which can justify this subscription model, either weekly or monthly, it's definitely something which even, you've started seeing these subscription based monetization in hyper casuals as well. And given the nature of these games, one would argue that these kind of games don't really have a good use case for a subscription model. But you will see a lot of trending, a lot of grossing games actually doing that route. And it proves that the subscription model is definitely something which is still yet to be explored. I mean, it still isn't in its prime time. And with services like, Google's Play Pass and Apple Arcade, these subscriptions, even for as a, for parents, give you that ease of mind that subscribing for, let's say, as little as 100 rupees a month will give you access to these 200 games, 250 games, and you don't have to worry about ads, or you don't have to worry about your child spending going above the credit card limit or stuff like that. So these kind of values are, and even if you are not a part of a arcade or a Google Play Pass, even games doing subscription model have proven that there's still room for doing this right. considering you can justify the the weekly or the monthly payout.
Thanks, Chirag. So, Manav, do you agree with what Chirag has to say, or do you have something to add in this particular topic?
So I think I would sort of connect it with your earlier question, right? So when I was launching Alt, which was India's first SVOD platform having only Indian shows, I think we coined this term called the White Chasm between Nagin and Narcos, right? So India is that chasm, right? You have very niche English speaking premium, consuming population on one side, and you have these
Yeah.
700 million people who are not those premium consumption. So what, Chirag was saying earlier, right? I mean, why is it that we really sort of not look at card games in a premium zone? Why is it that we need to say, oh, these are the card games and there are the premium games? At the end of the day, games are games, right? This is the same 2 hours or 3 hours that you would spend otherwise on either your Spotify or on your Netflix or on your Amazon, or you will, play on Octro or Zynga or, Moonfrog, right? So I think to that extent, we have to really, really be very clear about that. Who are we catering to, right? Once you look at it from that perspective, you realize that, I mean, we've seen that in India, the credit card population is only about 25, 30 mil, right? But the largest sort of payment instrument today is either UPI or wallet, right? So the entire micro transaction ability and ability from a RMG side to sort of give $5 to you and take $5 back within the matter of seconds, I think that has sort of laid out a completely new landscape which never ever existed before. And I'm sure the guys who have been dealing with telcos in their vast days would know how hard it was to recover the money, right? I mean, you really had to have a cash cycle and a team of 100 people only to manage the telcos, right? So I think there is no one rule. I come from the school where I believe that every market has to democratize and federate it, and which is why I don't believe that subscription will be the mainstay. I think the games which have the largest pull factor, the largest fidelity, quality, etc., will always attract people, and people will pay whatever forms of monetization they want to pay. At the end of the day, the core offering has to be valuable. Monetization will follow. And from a platform standpoint, you should open up all possible, ways of consumption to happen at scale. I mean, we have seen as recent as 2 weeks ago, Spotify launching a $7 plan, right? That they have never launched in anywhere in the world. We have seen Netflix launching a mobile only plan, which is the cheapest plan in the world, right? When I was in Reliance Entertainment, I mean, we remember that with Arcom, we had launched the sachet based pricing, right? That for, I think, $10 a day, you could consume data and, part of the experience on their as portal. So I think that's the play, right? And when you're looking at any market like India, which is very nuanced to money, right? You have to have all the options thrown at people and let them choose.
I agree with Manav here because
Thanks.
in
Thanks, Manav.
India,
Very, very detailed.
I think he rightly said you have to give each and every model. A lot of people will be going for subscription. A lot of people will be going for daily pass. In fact, daily pass will play much higher contribution in terms of overall bulk. And then few people they might not have daily revenue. For example, a lot of people say, "Hey, today I don't have 10 rupees. What to do? I still want to play game." Then the advertising comes in a place where B2B model works like, "Hey, you watch the ad and we'll cover 10 rupees from the advertiser and you play the game." Do not ever stop them by playing game because the customer acquisition cost or visit cost you cannot cover if you deny.
Yeah.
So there will be various cusp of models. I would always say cusp of models will work rather than single model. Uh, Being a telco, we never launched our own billing because we understood that there are a lot of billing channels now. So I think you never know what will work. So you have to be open with every channel.
Thanks. Yeah, right. Ashish very rightly said that yes, I mean it can't depend upon one kind of model. People are changed, their style has changed, and then yes, only subscription is not the way. There could be multiple ways of spending the part. I talked a lot about player and player engagement and player experience. I have my next question around that. Uh, looks like I'm come to play experience part primarily. So I'm sure you all have been doing something special to engage with your players, or meet with your players, and understand in details like what exactly he's looking for. How do you come to a conclusion that he might not look a subscription, he might go for the something like daily buying or something? So what you guys are doing in terms of meeting your players, understanding their mindset, or doing more research, or deep dive about the user mindset? So, like for example, in Moonfrog Labs, for my games like Team Putty Gold and Ludo Club, we make sure that we meet our players very frequently. Like one of my designer must be meeting one of the player every day, kind of. So we don't even release even a single design or something online, which is not seen by at least 5 or 10 players. So we are kind of connected with a lot of players, and we have opened a lot of mediums. Could be WhatsApp, could be Facebook, could be direct call, video call, audio call. So there are multiple ways to contact them, and we do open that. So what exactly you guys are doing, want to know in detail? Like I would like to come to Purnima first. Being a designer, game designer, how do you judge your design? How does this game design helps you in terms of, do you really meet your players, and how do you exactly meet your players?
So, in my case, given I'm working for a player base that's widely spread across the globe and primarily from the US, so here we actually have our, alliances who are actually helping coordinate that. We do actually try to meet them. In fact, we did, in some cases, we did connect with our primary players and talk to them and understand what is it that they like about the game and what is it that they would like to change. We also have our player advisory councils, we have our VIP players, and all of them, I think, are being taken care by different aspects of the game development team. So we have our community, we have our customer support team, and we also, from design perspective, also try to connect with them either through Facebook or through emails or even through other channels. And then we also do our consumer insights, right? Like we do these reports, we keep a constant check of what are the kind of players who are coming into our game, what are the other aspects that they like outside from playing our game. So what is it that we can connect, so we provide that experience into the game in terms of design, because if say they like something like say card games, and can we provide that some aspects of that similar mechanic into the game, which helps us from a design perspective to understand our player types, and make sure that we provide and cater to each of these different personas that exist in our game ecosystem. So definitely that conversation I feel is always important to understand who your gaming audience is. And I think community can drive a lot into the game. I think Fall Guys has been a great example where the entire drive into the community has popularized the game a lot more. And of course, Among Us, I think Among Us is more of a player to player behavior, and Fall Guys has been more of a community driven behavior. So social interaction in any form, I would say, is really, really crucial to a game.
Thanks, Purnima. So without wasting time, I would like to come to Manav. What do you think about this, and what Octro is doing in terms of meeting players very regularly?
So I think Octro has invested a lot in data, right? And if you believe that Steve Jobs was a master of consumer behavior and creating world-class consumer products, you would realize that he said that consumers don't know what do they want, right? At the end of the day, it is incumbent on the platforms or the provider to really find or unearth those latent needs, right, which are yet to be brought to the market. So we look at data like no one else does, right? And I think personally, I've gone through almost all Zynga's quarterly earning reports and all the other, publicly listed companies, wherever the information is in the domain, to see how the global trends are there, right? But deep down, from a platform standpoint, right, we captured pretty much every signal that a player leaves back. We sort of deep dive into it. We have a very strong data analytics team, and we sort of pick those signals and see what kind of consumer behavior or cohorts are sort of waiting to be capitalized, right? And basis that, we go back and work very closely with the UX team and the UI team, and they sort of then does a lot of control and test experiments to see what treatment works well, and basis that, we then go back and sort of tweak something, right? But it is all about data. I think gaming industry, and I've done e-commerce in the past, I've done OTT in the past. I think the kind of cadence that I see in gaming from a data perspective is unparalleled.
Got it. Very interesting. I mean, look like completely opposite direction. people have different approaches. Like I have been taking a lot of approach in terms of meeting qualitatively with the players, understanding, observing, and taking decision. I heard that even kind of Purnima is kind of taking such kind of initiative approach. But yeah, Manav has a very different approach. Would like to know from Chirag, what is your approach in terms of meeting the players and engagement with them?
So we've been very active, ever since we started making our games. We've been very active at sharing and talking to people around the internet, collecting feedback or just randomly talking to them about what they think about this, what do they think about that. So over the years, we've built, this strong community of people who really like what we are doing. And they've been very active at, even simple things like just providing feedback on a prototype or just providing feedback on one design feature or stuff like that. So our approach is mostly organic. We like to, get these people in not just for the sake of collecting feedback or collecting stuff like, hey, what do you think? We like to think of it as a way that we, develop these games in coordination, in collaboration with these people, because these people have the best idea about, how, if we show them something, is it something that they like to play it? Is it something that interests them? So this is more like a collaboration effort where we, every day we are talking to so many people, showing them stuff, collecting feedback from them, discussing stuff with them. And this whole organic approach has gotten us to a point where, everything that we do comes from the effort of, our own self-interest, and also talking to these people, getting their feedback and seeing, is this something that they like to play? Because we make games for a very niche market. Like we take pride in making games which are not mainstream, which are not there for everyone to play. We take pride in creating these curating experiences. So we like to have these niche group of people talk to us, provide feedback, and tell us how do they feel about this, and if there's something they can help us with.
Thank you. Thanks, Chirag. Thank you so much for your words about this. So, with the interest of time, I would like to kind of stop our thoughts here right now. And I would like to appreciate and thank all the panelists who took your time to discuss about the future of gaming in India and your experience and point of view about this. I love the discussion, no doubt, and I would love to meet all of you people one-on-one after this COVID is over. You are a very amazing panelist. Hope to see you again. And thanks to the audience, and I would love to know if there's any question around this. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks.